Good morning, Willis family. Merry Christmas and Happy December. This is the post-December board meeting update. I want to take a few minutes to cover the happenings in the district and give a shout out again to the Board of Education. What a wonderful group, and appreciate their dedicated service and commitment to our schools and all the work that they're doing to support our educational staff as we continue to try to provide the best learning experience for our kids. We had a wonderful board meeting last night. I want to give a shout out to the following employees, individuals: Amy Temple, Amy Bajic, Lacey Bowers, Brittany Stifler, Brenda Miller, Amy Brackane, Jennifer Scobie. Those individuals have stepped up and filled in for us as Boys and Girls Club has been shut down for the last several weeks prior to Thanksgiving. Going through at least at this point till January 11th, we were able to bring those individuals on board onto our staff and to have them continue to operate an aftercare program for our kids. I know that's a great service to many of our families, to many of you, so just wanted to give them a shout out. We also want to welcome back two employees that are returning back with us. Martin Kasavov, who's returned and has joined us again in our technology department. We're so happy to have him back and look forward to his many years of service to our students and staff. And then Phil Irwin, who left us for just a brief short of time, and we're grateful to have him back driving with us at the beginning of the year. Also want to let you know that Andy McFarland has been has accepted the assignment of an assistant track coach, and Delilah Ubel is going to be our high school choir accompanist. So appreciate their work in that. Just going through the board agenda, the minutes will always be posted on the board on the website, so I'm not going to go through everything in detail, so you can find some additional information there, but a couple of the highlights. Just want to update everyone on our COVID policies or changes as we've gone through this new shift with masking K-12. We feel like it's gone fairly well, and our students are, like all of us, are trying to adjust to this new norm, and we appreciate those efforts in those younger grade levels to wear their masks. And with that, we're implementing a modified quarantine that if individuals are masked and they're exposed to somebody who's test positive with COVID who is also masked, then we can keep those children at school. Wanted to make sure that everybody was aware that the Stone County Health Department has asked that we not allow students who participate in extracurricular activities to participate in the modified quarantine. So they can participate in the modified quarantine as far as the school day goes, but they are not allowed to play in sports. So unfortunately, the modified quarantine, while it does help us significantly during the school day, the health department has not allowed those individuals to play in sports after school. They are, however, allowed to participate in other extracurricular activities where masks can be worn appropriately and social distancing, the other procedures that we have during the school day can be implemented. So we do appreciate the Stone County Health Department supporting that and appreciate our partnership with them. The quarantine period has shifted from 14 days to 10 days as per CDC guidelines in the health department. Our health department has asked that we maintain that 10-day quarantine, that there is some pieces where some health departments are going to do a modify that to a 7-day if you have a negative test. We are not doing that here in our county at this point in time, so I think we're just going to evaluate through this winter Christmas season and see how things go in January before that's adjusted. But we're at least grateful that we're down to a 10-day quarantine. That's significant and helpful. We have ordered, as a district, I have put in an order for some free antigen testing kits to test for the antibody to administer here in the district. We are not at the point where we've decided that that's what we're going to do for sure, that we're going to administer them, but we have ordered kits because they're free, so they're coming in. So we will have those on hand to be able to utilize in the future if that's something we choose to do with staff or students. And of course, we would never move forward without the proper permission and communication from parents if we decided to implement that in any capacity. One of the highlights from last night is we had an outside agency, Patron Insight. They assisted us in administering a community survey. That community survey went out for a couple weeks, and it was pushed out through our normal communication channels that Ben Fisher pushed out. Of that, we had about 492 participants in that survey, so we felt like that was a good turnout. 78% of those respondents were current student families, and so Just a couple of the highlights is they asked some questions, and they were asked on 14 different factors in the district to grade them on a 5-point weighted scale, to grade them, A, B, C, D, and F, kind of on our performance. And overall, our performance ratings were significantly high. We'll put all this information out online on our website and push it out through social media. One of the things I want to highlight as a huge success that we certainly wanted to see, that we got a really high rating on, was the performance of our teachers. We are so appreciative of our teachers. I think out of a 5-point scale, they rated a 4.27, which was really, according to the gentleman who shared the survey data with us, was really significant and high. And so that's what you want to see. You want to see that our families are pleased with our teaching staff and happy with their overall work. So we're grateful for all that our teachers do for our students. So we'll share that out. A number of things. Another set of questions that were asked was to weight in regards to our strategic planning priorities, to group them or to rate them in order of rank of importance to each patron on a scale of 1 to 7. Kind of grouped, there are 3 areas that came up top as the top priorities, and that was to maximize academic excellence as the number 1, which I think there's no one in the district staff that would say that there's anything more important than maximizing academic excellence. To address the social and emotional needs of our students, which directly correlates to our students and meeting their needs. And then attracting, retaining, and growing quality employees. Actually, that tied with the social and emotional needs of our students. So those are the 3 highest things that our patrons felt like were the top priorities for our district. And I think that's pretty close aligned with what we're moving forward. I think really close right in that group was advancing our early childhood programs and our college and career readiness programs. So very pleased with that. One of the final questions that was asked in the survey is if the district proposed a tax levy increase to fund the needs of the strategic plan, how many would be in support of that? We have 67% that were in support of that based off of this survey. We have about 16%, that are still undecided. And then we have a smaller population that were opposed. Really felt like that survey data was really strong indication that we're primed and ready to go, and obviously the needs there, you've heard me talk about that, the needs there to be able to address our financial situation. We feel like we're in a good position to be able to go to our voters, and so we've already passed that. The board last month passed a resolution for ballot language to be placed on our ballot here this coming April. So once we get back from Christmas break, we're going to have a lot of information that we'll be pushing out to all of our stakeholders in regards to the need for that and why that's happening at this point. So appreciate patron insight and sharing that information with us. And really, there were not anything that was glaring concerns in the survey. So overall, I'm very excited about how we're progressing as a district. Just for your information, each year Department of Education puts out a district report card regarding performance. They assess us on a variety of factors. They have released a 2020 report card, although it does not include any academic performance data because of last spring. That was not able to happen. So that information can be found on the Department of Education website. It also can be found in our board minutes. I just wanted to also let you know that at this point in time, the Department of Education and the Board of Education at the state level has determined that we will be doing state testing, MAP and EOC, and of course exam testing this spring. I think there's still a lot of questions whether that will happen for sure, but as of now, that's what we're being told. However, it will not be used for accountability purposes. At this point in time, it's going to be utilized only for district information to be able to support our students as they learn. The board does conduct a self-evaluation on their roles and progress as a board, so we will be discussing that next month, so appreciate them. There were a couple policies that were approved last night. One was in regards to English language learners, and the other was in regards to virtual instruction. I'm not going to go through the details of those. Those are posted on the website. Those are policies 6180 and 6190 if you're interested in either of those 2 topics. We had our audit report provided to us last night by our auditors. Very pleased to report that it was a good one for me after a full year of being here and having this audit under our belts, that we had a very clear audit, very successful audit, and I will give a shout out to really to our office staff here for their work. All of our support staff here in the office really are the ones that make that successful. And so I give them complete credit for a wonderful audit, as well as our secretaries and other support staff that really take time to pay attention to detail and ensuring that our data and the reports that we have to compile for that are done accurately and done well and done with integrity. So very pleased to say that we have a successful audit again. Last night, the board approved our recommendation, which was also part of the strategic plan goals. It was one of the things that we had as a goal to implement this school year, was to add a secondary instructional coach. So Nicole Harrell, who's done a remarkable job serving 2 buildings, will now shift to be the instructional coach for the high school. And we will now be posting a position for a new instructional coach for the middle school. So that posting will go out probably this week, and we'll begin searching for that position. And one of the reasons we feel that, obviously, it's part of our strategic plan, and the reason is because that role does more, I think, to support teachers in their growth and development, and work alongside with them as they're working with the curriculum and instructional strategies. And as we move to this new norm of high quality expectations, world-class educational environment, we feel like that position is absolutely critical. So the board was in agreement with that, and so we're excited to be able to have that happen. The board did revise their calendar. Just a reminder that next week the calendar has been revised, that Monday and Tuesday are no school days, so enjoy your 2 weeks of vacation. Our students and staff and families deserve to have that extra time together. The final thing that was addressed last night at the board meeting was, as of now, what we've been told is that the political parties have not agreed, or are not necessarily playing nicely, and have not kind of gotten onto the same page with the COVID Relief Act. As many of you know, during this last semester, businesses and schools were provided, employees were there was a COVID Relief Act that was provided to give employees up to 2 weeks of leave that does not come out of their leave, that's separate leave, to be able to cover those times when they're either positive with COVID, or they're under quarantine, or a family member. And so at this point in time, we don't know if the government's going to extend that. We're not, it's December, and so we're not sure that's going to continue past the end of this month. So last night, the board adopted a resolution, which in essence continues and extends that leave through the next semester, through June. And so there's a couple different tweaks and differences to that. One, the employee will be responsible for the first couple days of leave, have a little bit of responsibility, use a couple days of their leave towards that. They can be used for up to 80 hours. However, if an employee has already used COVID leave, this is not an additional 80 hours. So there are 80 hours just continuing on. So if you've already used 2 full weeks of leave, then this would not be an additional 2 full weeks. So just wanted to make that clarification. It also does not apply to those scenarios when your children have child care facilities have been closed down. So if something happens with child care, this does not cover that. It does, however, provide it if you have been impacted with COVID or are under quarantine. So that information will be sent out. I know Gayla always does a remarkable job sharing that information out with our staff, so we'll make sure that information is sent out to you. We, again, wonderful board meeting. A lot has happened. A lot continues to go on in terms of quality learning experiences in our classroom. Dr. Kite and I have had the opportunity to get into the classrooms this last week and visit teachers and to see great things. And one of the things I was telling the board last night, that there hasn't been a classroom that we walked into where students haven't been engaged at a high level and teachers haven't been working tremendously hard. So that's what it's really all about. We're so proud of them. We're proud of all that's taken place, and we look forward to our second semester of learning and a great end to our school year, and hope everybody has a wonderful and safe Merry Christmas. Thanks, everyone.